How to win friends and influence people. My very first mentor was my uncle. He owned an investment firm. And I said, what's your best piece of advice? And he said, reread this book over and over and over again, and you'll always succeed in business. Yeah. How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. And in this book, when I first read it, when I was 12 years old, just a little kid, I thought, wow, this is really obvious information, right? It was all about being nice, being respectful, active listening, following up, treating people how you'd like to be treated. Really obvious things. But then I thought about it more and more, that so many people take that for granted, that when they're working on a business, they can get really caught up in the moment of cutting up, trying to make as much money as possible. What this book does is it really helps you clarify how to actually treat people, right? So I want you to imagine, whenever you're talking to someone, imagine that that person is you. How would you want to talk to that person? How would you want them to talk to you? But if you do end up listening to it, it's a great listen. So there's 30 main points to the book that I want you to remember. So we'll go one by one and talk about each one. So 1, don't criticize, condemn, or complain. So if something is not going your way, be kind, be respectful, and find a solution, right? Because if you condemn, criticize, or complain, you'll only perpetuate a negative situation. Rule number 2, give honest, sincere appreciation. When someone helps you or someone does you a favor, give them a really big, honest, sincere thank you. And maybe send them a gift. If they did something nice for you, really try to pay that forward and return the favor to them. Rule number 3, arouse in the other person an eager want. What this means is create a sense of wonder about the situation or experience or thing you're trying to sell. Create a sense that they have to have it, because not having it would be awful and having it would be amazing. Rule number 4, become genuinely interested in other people. This comes back to how we said treat people how you would like to be treated. Imagine everybody is you just pushed out, but they have a whole different memory system and different experiences that you can learn from. So be genuinely interested in every person you interact with. Rule number 5, don't be afraid to smile. You'd be surprised how smiling can solve all the world's problems. Rule number 6, remember to a person that their name, their first name, is the sweetest thing they could ever hear in their lives. So say it often. Say their first name often. Rule number 7, be a good listener. Allow people to talk often about themselves and be genuinely interested in what they have to say. Rule number 8, talk in terms of the other person's interests. Understand where they're coming from and relate to them. Rule number 9, make the other person feel important and do it sincerely. You have to actually care about this person. So imagine that they are you, just self-reflected. So genuinely care about them, and they will feel that energy. Rule number 10, the only way to get the best of an argument is to avoid it. Avoid arguments at all costs. Rule number 11, have respect for the other person's opinion. Never say you're wrong. Always say, I can see how you see that. I understand where you're coming from. Oh, I didn't think of it that way. Rule number 12, if you're wrong, admit it and be empathetic about it. So admit to your mistakes and own up to them. Rule number 13, begin in a friendly way. Always be very kind and considerate. Imagine every interaction you're about to do, you're about to meet your best friend. How would you want to treat that person? Rule number 14, start with questions that will lead that person to say yes. The more you can get them to say yes, the more they will warm up to you. So ask them leading questions where the answer will always be yes. Rule number 15, let the other person do a great deal of talking. In interactions, it's important to let the other person talk more than you. It should be an 80-20 rule, the Pareto principle. They speak 80% of the time, you speak 20% of the time. Rule number 16, let the other person feel the idea is his or hers. Even if you came up with the idea, let them feel and take ownership of that idea. It will empower them and make them respect you even more. Try honestly to see things from the other person's point of view. Rule number 17, try honestly to see things from the other person's point of view. Really put yourself in their shoes and see why they have that opinion. Remember, no opinions are wrong. Respect all of them. Rule number 18, be sympathetic with the other person's wants, desires, and opinions. You can disagree with them, but don't verbally negate their feelings. Respect them and understand where they're coming from. Rule 19, appeal to the nobler motives. Have the best interests and best goals at heart and you will achieve great things. Rule 20, dramatize your ideas. Really make them real and expressive, and you will be able to convince anyone of anything. Rule 21, throw down a challenge. You don't have to compete, you can collaborate. Rule 22, begin with praise and honest appreciation. Always begin every interaction with positivity, love, and kindness. Rule 23, call attention to people's mistakes indirectly. Don't force their mistakes onto them, but convey them in a way that doesn't make them feel negative. Rule 24, talk about your own mistakes before criticizing others. You should make them feel like you're in the wrong more than they are. Make them feel good, make them feel related, make them feel understood. Rule 25, ask questions instead of giving direct orders. Make sure to ask questions and lead them. Remember, like we said in the previous rule, lead them to yes statements. Rule 26, let the other person save face. This is an old-time phrase for allowing the other person to feel good, to, if they made a mistake, to not rub it in their face, to save face. Rule 27, praise every moment. Every moment of this existence is so pure, so wonderful, so loving. Just have praise and be thankful in it. Rule 28, give the person a fine reputation to live up to. View them in such a high light that they have nothing to do but maintain that light. Rule 29, use encouragement. Make the fault seem easy to correct. If someone does something wrong, rather than putting them down and being negative, give them positive reinforcement and show them that they can solve this problem because they're intelligent, they're creative, they have courage, and they can do anything. And rule 30, the most important rule, make the other person happy about doing what you suggest. When you suggest something to them, they should feel joyous, happiness, excitement that they get to fulfill this. That's how you should end every interaction. Happy dreaming, everyone. Subscribe if you're not already. Like this video if you like videos like this. And I know, like I said at the beginning of this video, I know it sounds like such straightforward, simple advice, but you'd be surprised how few people actually apply it. And if you do, just like Dale Carnegie, you will learn how to win friends and influence people. Happy dreaming, everyone.